75 days cost absolutely nothing, but one of the biggest life-changing transformations I've ever experienced. Can I share with you why I did my version of Hard 75, what I learned about myself, and what I would recommend if I was going to do this all over again. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am financial planner Canna Campbell. Now, as you guys know, I love a good challenge. I love a bit of a project, something to sink my teeth in for a short period of time, like the $1,000 project, Frugal February, Manifesting March. So when I heard about Hard 75, I was really curious. All right, before I jump in to explain everything, I need to go back a step and explain what Hard 75 is all about. So Hard 75 was created by a guy called Andy Fissell, and it is a personal growth challenge that's predominantly focused around fitness and strength and your overall well-being. And essentially, for Hard 75, you need to do 2 workouts a day for a minimum of 45 minutes, one of which has to be outside. And you have to read non-fiction for at least 10 minutes a day. You have to drink something like 4.5 liters of water. And you have to, there's a couple of other things you have to do. It's pretty wild. And if you miss a day, you have to go back to day 1 and start all over again. It is hardcore, hence why it's called 75 Hard. Now, my au pair was doing 75 Hard, and she just started. She was into day 4, and I was really curious to see what she was doing. And being me that loves a challenge, but also at that particular time I was feeling a little bit lost. I felt like I needed something to help make me accountable and responsible. I kind of wanted to do it too, but I knew that Hard 75 was completely unrealistic for me because, number one, I don't have the time to be doing 45 minutes workouts a day, and it didn't resonate with me with the strict hardcore rules. So I decided to come up with my own rules, and these are the rules that I did. So I had to exercise for a minimum of 6 days per week and exercise for a minimum of 35 minutes a day. I also had to journal every day in the morning for at least 10 minutes, and I also had to read nonfiction for at least 10 minutes or 10 pages every single day. And then I also decided, because I was creating my own rules here, that I would include this particular program by Ryder, which is a mindset program that really focuses around healing from past traumas. And I actually bought this program about 9 months ago, and I had been working through it, but I just kept on hitting blocks and I wasn't able to actually complete. So I thought, you know what, why don't I include this rule to complete this program in the 75 days? Anyway, I did it. I did the full 75 days, and if it was a day where I couldn't exercise for whatever reason, I made sure I tried to catch up on the following day. But I would say I actually followed this about 85% of the time, and because I catched up, it was probably more realistically 95% of the time. This was quite incredible what I experienced and how it helped me and how I've grown as a person from doing this. So I want to share with you the benefits of this and also why I'm going to do all over again in a second. So one of the biggest benefits was in doing this challenge, I actually felt really proud of myself. I got up every morning, which I do every morning anyway at 5 a.m., but I read, I journaled, I looked forward to doing my exercise. I felt really proud once I completed all my things for the day. It gave me an amazing sense of self-worth and pride. I also found that obviously, naturally, because I was doing more exercise than my normal routine, I was so much fitter, so much stronger. And not that this was actually about a materialistic physical appearance challenge. Naturally, I picked up more muscle and became more toned and looked leaner and healthier, and even some of my cellulite disappeared. And I'll show you a before and after photo so you can sort of see for yourself. Then I would say I was so much more calmer and creative. I feel like the journaling was probably one of the most powerful parts of this particular exercise. And I have to say, when I first thought about journaling, I'm like, oh, this is so not my thing. I'm gonna hate it. But I looked forward to journaling every morning. And amazingly, just so much stuff came out of my ADHD brain. It was just transported to this piece of paper, and because I got it all out, my brain just felt this sense of tranquility and peace and calm and almost like a sense of order. And because I was journaling every day and just stuff just flowed, I didn't even really have to think too hard, it just came out. My handwriting dramatically improved to the point where I actually have really nice handwriting. It's really elegant, really neat. And I'd look at the end of the journaling process and go, wow, I wrote all that. It just flowed. And it looks so neat. And it was really quite incredible doing this. And it's the one I thought would be of zero value. And also, as I said, I became more creative. I felt like before doing this challenge, I've always been someone who is creative. And I'm also someone who's extremely easily influenced and inspired. So I would see something and get an idea, and I'd sometimes get like 5 ideas at the same time, but I couldn't quite do anything with it because it just hit me too hard, and it was just like suddenly trying to juggle 5 balls all at the same time. But doing this challenge, my ideas, my creative ideas, when I hit moments of inspiration, it actually flowed consistently throughout the day or throughout the week rather than all coming at me at the same time, which is something I've never ever experienced before. Now, I would say there were some downsides in doing this particular challenge, and for the record, this is probably soft 75, and that was I got injured. So I'm not used to doing 6 workouts a day. My body was not used to that, and I hurt my knee. And look, it didn't stop me because obviously I just pivoted and I learned to do different types of exercises, and I got Tom taped up my knee for me, and I was still able to keep going. It wasn't a major problem, but I injured myself. And when I was reading some reviews of other people that done Hard 75, they also had injuries. And also, other people who did this actually got sick and run down and, got the flu or got glandular fever because they put their bodies through such extreme measures and they weren't used to it. The other thing I would say, and this didn't actually impact me, but if you were to go and do this, the warning I would have is actually around your mental health. Any personal growth challenge should inspire you. It should make you want to do change, but not to the point where you're putting pressure on yourself and it's becoming almost a form of punishment or even being cruel to yourself. So with the official Hard 75 rules, if you skip a day or don't complete all of those tasks, you're supposed to go back to day 1 again, which that's just punishment. What's the point there? Life happens, and we need to, I think being compassionate towards ourselves and kind is really important for our own personal growth and development. So yes, there were days where I didn't tick every box perfectly, but I didn't start again. I just kept going, kept the rhythm, kept the momentum, and made a conscious effort to try and catch up the following day or the day after that. And I did that, I'd say 95% of the time. But if you were to do this, I'd be very careful about not punishing yourself, beating yourself up, or feeling bad if you didn't successfully complete each daily task. That's not what this is about. So I don't necessarily think starting all over to day 1 again is actually a great rule under the official Hard 75. I kind of liked my approach. I had the opportunity, if I wanted to catch up. No big deal if I didn't, but it gives you the power back again, which I think is really important with these particular types of challenges to get the most amount of growth and development from them. Now, I have to say, when I got to the end of 75 days, I actually had withdrawal symptoms. I was really missing my morning routine of getting up, journaling, doing the Jamie Ryder program, reading nonfiction for a minimum of 10 pages. So I felt almost like a bit of a sadness, a bit of emptiness in my life again. And then it came up again. I was like, I'm curious. I'd actually really like to do this all over again, but do slightly different rules and see where else this can take me. So I'm actually going to do it all over again, and I would love for you to join in with me. So on the 9th of June, which is a Monday morning, I'm going to start all over again. I'm going to just call this hashtag 75 Canna. And here are my rules. I'm going to exercise for a minimum of 6 times a week, minimum of 35 minutes each time. However, to avoid risk of injury to my poor knee, which is currently aching right now, I'm allowing one of those exercise sessions to be pure stretching, which I can do on the comfort of my sofa at home, or on the lounge, or on the carpet by the lounge, or I can do that in the gym, or even in the park whilst walking the dogs. I'm also going to incorporate an element of minimalism in this. So with this particular challenge, it's all about, obviously personal transformation and coming out the other side as a different person, a better person. And I was thinking about what I really need in my life. And to be honest, I actually need a little bit more order and organization and less distractions and clutter. So one of my other rules for this 75 Canna challenge is going to focus on one area a day of either tidying, reorganizing, or decluttering. And that can be one drawer, one cupboard. It can be something like a glove box in my car. It could be a shelf. It could be something in my kitchen or my pantry. But I'm just going to aim to tackle one small area each day. And really was hoping this will help me feel more organized and in control, because sometimes my life feels a little bit chaotic. So I think this is actually going to add a lot of value to my life. The other rules that I'm going to keep in this are journaling every day for a minimum of 10 minutes, because this was just so incredibly beautiful. It was very nurturing to my heart, and it really benefited my brain in just getting all the noise and distractions and confusing feelings down on paper. And it was also a really great way to use up pieces of paper when my kids have done art on it. And it wasn't the type of art that it was like squiggles, or I didn't want to necessarily throw it out, but I didn't want to waste it. So I've been using those pieces of paper to do my journaling in the morning, which is really quite beautiful for me. And then of course, reading every day. I have a long list. I have a big pile of books that I really want to read, and I bought them a while ago, and I feel really guilty and bad looking at that pile thinking, why haven't I read these yet? I need to read them and then give them away to my followers, my community, or just people I know who would benefit from this particular book. So I'm going to keep this rule of a minimum of 10 pages per day of non-fiction. One last other thing I want in this particular challenge is it's an area that I need help with, and that is I want to eat a minimum of 5 vegetables every single day. I have a massive sweet tooth, and I love pasta, I love bread, I love carbs, but I'm now approaching my mid-40s, and I need to be more responsible with what I'm eating, and I also need to lead a better example for my children, because they eat like I do, which I'm not proud of. So I'm bringing into this as a final rule 5 vegetables per day. And if it's just a couple of carrot sticks or a couple of pieces of celery, or I randomly eat a mushroom, that counts as 1 vegetable. So I'm going to be kind on myself, but I'm also going to make this easy. Now, if you're interested in doing this with me, I would love for you to do this. I want to hear from you, and also I would like to encourage you to come up with your own rules. By all means, copy what I'm doing. That would be great. But if I want you to also spend a moment thinking, what's going to add value to your life? What do you think you need right now? What do you need to change right now? And see if you can incorporate this into it. And for the record, I will be adding a very small financial element to this challenge, where I'm going to be either reading my financial goals every morning, or doing one simple thing for those financial goals, or doing some manifesting work around those financial goals. So if you're keen to do this with me, can I suggest that you make sure you're following me on Canna Campbell Official and at Sugar Mama TV on Instagram, and of course on TikTok, because every day I will share with you exactly what I've done and how I have felt and what I've maybe discovered along the way. This is going to be a really fun challenge, which I hope inspires you and motivates you to continue on your own personal growth and development and add value into your life. And of course, on each of those accounts, I'll make sure I share exactly all the rules that I'm following and how I'm going to do this. And if anyone's interested in how to actually make sure that they do this and they stick to this, a couple of quick things I recommend. Number 1 is try and get as many of these new habits or daily tasks done as early as possible in the day, so that you've done it and you can just get on with your day and not think too much about it. I'm someone who gets up naturally at 5 a.m. So for me, this was great because I had no one talking to me, no one distracting me, no notifications going up on my phone, no emails, no phone calls. So that was something that was really good for me. Also, set yourself up for success. Another thing that I did that really helped me stick to this 75 challenge is I would leave the items out. For example, on the sofa, I would leave my book that I needed to read. I would leave a piece of paper and a pen, and I would leave everything that I needed right there. So when I got up in the morning, had my morning coffee, sat on the sofa, I was ready to hit the ground running. Everything was there. There were no excuses to come up with or delay. So that was really good. And the third thing I would recommend to do to make yourself accountable and stick to this long term And that is to tell people, share it on social media, talk to your friends about it, put it out there, because when you do that, obviously you kind of put pressure on yourself, healthy pressure, to maintain it. And people are really curious. My DMs I was inundated with so many questions about, why am I doing this? What exactly are the rules? How can I do this as well? How can I join you? So put it out there. You will find that you inspire so many people. And if you don't complete the 75 days, that's okay, that's all right. I'm sure you will find and discover something beautiful about yourself, and it will add an element of powerful transformation in your life by just having a go. All right, everyone, let me know what you think. Are you going to do this with me? Do you like the sound of these rules? Or do you want to just maybe sit on the sidelines and watch me? I would love to hear from you. Let this challenge begin. Monday, the 9th of June, bring it on.